Thank you all very much for coming. My name is Tom Morgan. Can you hear me now? You're gesturing that you can't hear me, but now you can hear me. Okay. Thank you all very much for coming, and thank you for finding your way to Summer's Lounge. I suspect half of you went to Mitchell Auditorium. That was wrong. This is where we're meeting, but we've managed it. My name is Tom Morgan. I'm the director of the Alworth Center for the Study of Peace and Justice here at St. Scholastica, and this is program number 5 in a series of programs that we've done all year, and many of you know, dealing with the issues in Palestine and Israel. These programs are sponsored, as I just said, by the Alworth Center for the Study of Peace and Justice, thanks to a generous endowment from the Alworth family, who are sitting right in front of me. Thank you very much for that, as usual. And as well as we get funds from the Warner Lecture Series of the Manitou Fund and the DeWitt and Carolyn Van Ivre Foundation, and by the Mary C. Van Ivre Endowed Fund in memory of William Van Ivre, a former trustee of the college. Additional support for these programs has been received from the Global Awareness Fund of the Duluth Superior Area Community Foundation, the Royal D. Alworth Jr. Institute at the University of Minnesota Duluth, the UMD Department of Foreign Languages and Literatures, the Dignitas program here at St. Scholastica for our first-year students, Reader Weekly of Duluth, and from numerous other private donors. You notice I do this every time and the list gets longer, and that's really delightful. The management of this institution likes that too, but I'm gratified that there's so much support, so thank you to you all. Somewhere, I think over there at one of these tables, there is a sign-up sheet, if you haven't already done so. Yes, it's over there. If you want to get postcards from me for subsequent programs, we'll be happy to send those out. And also, print very neatly and cleanly, and you'll get email messages from us from time to time. So you can do that, and we'll stay in touch. There's also another table, is that the one over there too? For Peace Not Walls, yes, or there's somewhere here. There's a table over there as well. And that is a local chapter of a larger group that deals with this issue in a big way. I should say, somebody put this on the table here, and I'll be happy to promote it. This is an event next month, May 9th, 7 p.m., Temple Israel. Renowned biblical scholar Aviva Zornberg. Open to the public, a talk, I Am a Stranger Becoming Ruth. So I have that flyer right here, and you're welcome to, of course, come to that. I'll introduce our guests in just a minute, and then we'll be having this kind of public conversation for about an hour, and after that, you are welcome, encouraged to ask questions, and the program will continue, and I won't answer them, they will answer the questions. And please use the microphones on either side so that everybody can hear the question, and it gets recorded and all of that stuff. So that would be very good. And as usual, I always feel like I have to say this, if you have cell phones or other gadgets that make a lot of noise, now would be a good time to turn them off. Our guests this evening are a brother and sister team. Last month, a couple weeks ago, we had a comedy team. Now we had a brother and sister team, and these two have deep roots in Palestine. Hussein, to my immediate left, however, was born and raised in Chicago, where he studied marketing before starting his own agency, Swirl Fly. He's worked with his father's software company as well, and his father's company helps medical students find residency positions in the United States. Swirlfly is still running today, Hussein's company, and it's working on developing apps and websites, designing marketing plans, and helping businesses with brand development. Aminah, the next one over, was actually born in Palestine, in Jerusalem, but she found her way to the United States where she earned a degree in product development from the Fashion Institute of Design and Merchandising in Los Angeles. These two, their emotional connection to Palestine was nurtured primarily through their grandfather, who worked hard to teach them the culture and the language as they were growing up. In fact, Aminah and Hussein lived for a time as children with their grandfather in Palestine. Today, Hussein and Aminah are founders of Paliroots. This is a clothing company that seeks to preserve the Palestinian heritage through its products and other items. Palestinian charities receive 10% of the Paliroots profits, and the company takes a role in charitable campaigns connected with Palestine. Today, Hussein tells me, Paliroots has raised more than $250,000 to help the children of Gaza with basic necessities. Hussein works primarily on the marketing side of the business, and Aminah is the main designer of the clothing. Aminah and Hussein live today in San Diego, where they enjoy the great outdoors, among other pastimes. Hussein hikes and enjoys longboarding and swimming, and Aminah also goes hiking and rock climbing, and she enjoys photography and sometimes shoots weddings just for fun. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Hussein and A.Musa. I'll ask the first question, of course, because I'm sitting up here. And I just put this to Aminah, but you both, of course, are welcome to respond. But let's dig as deep as we can at the very beginning. For you, personally, what's the big deal about Palestine? Why is this so much a part of your life, and you've come all the way from San Diego to tell us why it's important to you?
So before I begin, I'd like to say marhaba, which means hello in Arabic. That's a great question, and one of my favorite questions, because everything that I do, I will go for miles if it's for Palestine, not only because I am Palestinian, but the values that I've learned as a Palestinian has made me the person that I am today. And that's because of my grandparents and my parents and my ancestors. Why is Palestine so important? And why should it be important to everybody from every ethnicity, religion, and culture? The Palestinian culture has a set of values that shape up our personalities and the way that we portray ourselves to others. And through the culture, it has taught me to love unconditionally, whether it's a human or if it's just a rock or a tree or anything as little that breathes or speaks, we treat it with love and respect. So as a Palestinian, I've learned that there is an emotional and spiritual connection between the being and the land. And that's found nowhere in the world but in Palestine. Especially during the harvest season when we did travel to Palestine in September and October, you would just notice that the people in Palestine were filled with joy, just abundant joy. And when you'd look into their eyes, you would just see this hint of olive in every person's eyes. Though their eyes might be black, you can still see olive. And I think it's the most beautiful thing. Definitely brings tears to my eyes every time I do look into a person's eyes, because I think that's the way you see and look through their soul. That's a deeper connection. And I am a very spiritual person, so I do have a really strong connection to the trees of Palestine. So for someone that's not Palestinian and they ask, hey, you know, you can just go around the Jordanian River and live in Jordan, why not? It's like right there. It doesn't feel right spiritually. It doesn't feel right because the land speaks to the people don't speak to the land, and it draws them back. There's a very famous quote that says, if the trees knew the hands that fed them and planted them, the olive trees would cry, because whenever we would plant an olive tree, we would give it our blessing. We would read Quran to it. or we would give it like an oath, a promise that we will forever protect it. So anytime we have an issue where our trees are being cut down, it's a catastrophe. It's the saddest day ever. And that's just the type of connection that Palestinians have with their land. It's a spiritual energy that exists nowhere in the world but in Palestine. And I urge you one day to visit this beautiful land and connect with it. With every rock that you see, I would remember as when I was walking, I would just like touch every rock I could possibly see. And some people might be like, this girl is just from another universe. I don't know what she's doing touching a rock. But I think there's a spiritual energy between it, and I think that pretty much wraps up why Palestine is super important. You have to be there in order to understand the connection of the land and the people that live there, and lives matter altogether. Every life in this universe matters to me, and the only enemy to me is the person who takes one from one another. I don't care where it may be, who you may be. I think it's important to preserve life in the creations of God.
And also to add to that, Palestine is a central hub for all major religions. Christianity, Judaism, Islam. Jerusalem is a very important place for all of us. And the culture that has been involved in that land is what shaped, us as humans. A lot of things that happened in Palestine during, I'm talking like 11,000 years ago, began in that, in that region, in that part of the world, where humans were evolving to be able to, to live with each other, build communities and societies. But more importantly, because it's important to a lot of major religions, we feel like it's a place that everybody can somehow feel rooted to.
Let me continue this conversation. Hussein, talk specifically about Palestine. Now, here you are, a tour guide for all these people, most of whom I suspect haven't been there, including me. What are some of the real cool things about Palestine or interesting things, or unique, that you would point out if you were running the tour bus?
Okay, so there's a lot of things that are really cool about Palestine. If you go to Jericho, for example, it's one of the oldest inhabited cities in the world. You go there and you feel this really different type of feeling. You feel like you're like 2,000 years behind from just being there. Jericho is not only the oldest city in the world, it also has the oldest wall in the world too. And there's just many things. I mean, Bethlehem is the birth of Jesus, and Jesus is important to the Muslims and Christians. You'll be able to go to the church of Nativity. I always say it wrong, Nativity. You can see Jesus' birthplace there, and you can see all the different places that these old prophets have walked on. The structures and buildings are just historic. Even when you go to Jerusalem, you'll see the walls that are still standing from thousands of years. But there's a lot of cool things that you can discover about yourself going to Palestine, just because of how much things have happened in this part of the world. Other cool things in Palestine, there's a lot of really good food. The hospitality is absolutely great. And you'll be able to, really get, as I said, feel like a sense of like understanding of us as humans. There's a lot of old traditions that we do, including the celebratory dance, which is called the debka, which is
or the debcha in
or
Falahi.
debcha, yeah, depending on what if you're like a modern Palestinian or like the old school, where we were rooted more towards the old school style of Palestine. So we speak with the cha, so chifak instead of kifak. But that's like a couple of the cool things. Is there anything you want to add, Aminah, to like cool things in Palestine?
The coolest thing that I did when I was in Palestine, and I urge all of you to go because the man behind this tree is phenomenal. His name is Abu Isa, and he is the caretaker of the world's oldest olive tree in Palestine. It's called Al-Badawi. That's the name of the tree. And it's a mother tree that has 7 daughters. So when you go there, the tree is just, I would say, half of the size of this room, that big for an olive tree. And we got to harvest it. And the tree is 5,000 plus years old. So as you can see,
It is
it's
believed
just
to be
believed to be
5,000,
5,500. But the man behind the tree was just so inviting. We were like helping him pick his tree, gave us a full course meal, shots of olive oil, and some of this cherry juice that was really tough to swallow because it was just, but apparently everything that's good for you is tough. So we had to nod our head and say it was delicious because it's impolite not to.
You two just returned from a 2-month trip, was that in Palestine?
Yeah.
Was it longer?
In October, yeah.
Okay.
We went during the olive harvest.
I gathered that. Yeah. Talk about that trip. Besides picking olives, you met friends, you met family. I mean, what specific impressions do you come back with from that trip?
I think one of the coolest trip, so we worked at this coffee shop in Ramallah, and it's just 20 minutes outside of our city. We're from a city or a village called Turmusaya, and we're known to be shepherds and the people who know how to make fricha, which is wheat. And I recently learned that's what Duluth is known for as well, so we have a lot in common, which is pretty cool. I love you, Duluth. So in Ramallah, we were sitting in a coffee shop working, and 15 years old, jumps out of nowhere and says, "Oh my gosh, Pali Roots, like I can't believe you guys are here." And we just kind of looked at him in shock, like, how does he know us? Like, we didn't expect it. But what's funny is we were sitting in this really big table. And this is like, I'm going to teach you a little bit more about Palestinian mannerism and the way that, how overly polite we are. But we're sitting in this big table co-working with people we don't know, and he goes and shakes hand with about 20 people that are in that table, and then comes to us, and he's like, "It's so nice to meet you." And when he left, the other people at the table was like, "Who is he? Why did he just say hi to us?" And we were explaining to him that he knew us from the movement and what we do for Palestine. And I think that was one of the most humbling things, to just see a 14-year-old kid just go up and just say hi to everybody, though he may not have known them.
His reaction was more like, "I've been looking for you." It was absolutely hysterical. But really, he was a really great kid. He was actually following along with us because we do a lot of live sessions, and we cover a lot of things on our social media. And he was following us, where we were a day before, which was in Jericho. And he comes up, he's like, "I was looking everywhere in Jericho for you guys."
Jericho's pretty big.
Yeah. And he didn't find us there, but he found us in Ramallah.
I think that was cool. And going back to your question, I'm sorry, you said one of the things in Palestine that we really enjoyed doing is just talking to the locals there. So when we were in Bethlehem, we were looking at olive wood manufacturers who make beads. And along the way, Hussein and my father, who was also with us on the trip, we're kind of wandering around the courtyard where the Church of Nativity is. And I always wander off. I'm always going to other places and just like talking to people. And I come across this man who is a Christian, Palestinian, and I sat with him for 20 minutes just to talk to him about his story. And I encourage everybody to always talk to their elders and to listen to their story, because I feel like there's a meaning or a story that, like a lesson that you could learn from them. And I think that was one of the things that really changed my experience in Palestine, was just talking to the locals there and hearing their stories.
Let me ask you about the mood of Palestine among the people. I mean, we've had a whole year of lectures and talks and examples of some pretty awful things that are happening in Israel-Palestine, that whole region. It doesn't seem like a very comfortable place to be right now, and it's essentially a war zone, is it not? And yet it sounds like a very happy... Talk about the mood of the Palestinian people. They still know how to laugh. They still have, a a life centered around family? I mean, just talk about that a little more detail. The average day of a Palestinian and how they function.
So, I mean, it's in any place that you go, you're gonna find very positive people and very negative people around you, and it just really depends on on the person. So, overall, yes, I would say Palestine can be a pretty stressful country. There's the occupation makes it hard for the people to enjoy life fully, because especially now with the age of social media, they're starting to know what life everywhere else looks like. So that can definitely be really hard for the youth. Now the older generation, it's a little bit different. They didn't grow up with social media. People back then, I feel like, were less materialistic than people our generation. So for them, they really enjoy the land and being there, despite of the occupation and the things that are happening in Palestine. And also, I would say that overall, I mean, different parts of Palestine have different types of problems. We live a little bit more, inland. Our area does have its conflict every once in a while. But if you were, like, for example, in Hebron and close to where the settlements are, it's a completely different life because it's constant harassment for the people there, because the idea is that you make life hard and then hopefully drive them out, and that's kind of how we feel like the agenda or the perception of the people are there, is that to make life hard. But they stay hopeful, and they celebrate, and they live their life. And if somebody would ask me, is Palestine a dangerous place, I would say yes, it's dangerous, but it's definitely worth seeing. But you're not gonna go there and have a super high chance of dying. It's not like that. But it's definitely, there's a lot of unexpected things that could definitely happen, but we still encourage people to go and to see it.
Yeah, I definitely want to add to that. I think that's a very big picture about the life in Palestine. But if I were to go into depth, let's say I want to focus on my own grandmother. Her name is Aminah. I'm named after my grandmother. Her everyday life schedule is she wakes up to the sound of chickens. She has 30 chickens in her backyard, or roosters specifically. Man, those roosters. Let's just say I'm up at 4 a.m. And the first night that we slept and woke up, she surprised us with freshly homemade bread downstairs. And she uses this really old ancient oven with rocks and wood under it to heat up the rocks. And I remember it was the first time that I've actually woke up to the smell of bread. And I think that is the only way I want to wake up for the rest of my life. I'm like, bread and jam, that's where I'm at. And she's downstairs, she has the radio on, and there's old Fairuz, which is classical music, and the artist is Lebanese, but she sings a lot about Palestine. Marcel Khalifa, these are popular artists that you would listen to back in the days. And she'd be singing downstairs, her goats would be in the backyard, and she has every fruit tree possible in her backyard. I mean, name it, she's got it. And if you walk in, even if you're approaching the door, she already has a meal upstairs ready for you. She's like, come in, there's tea and coffee, and I even made you a full course meal. So I would say overall, being a Palestinian living there is difficult, and it may be dangerous, but I think the Western media portrays it as the scariest place on earth, and it truly isn't. And I think that's why people don't want to cross the border when they visit Tel Aviv, is that they're afraid. But I urge you guys to take that fear away, because you'll regret any moment that you decided not to. Because being in Palestine is just, I think we had someone told me earlier that the only dangerous thing, Kylie was telling me this earlier, the only dangerous thing about Palestine is to be overfed. And I was like, absolutely, absolutely.
We were even talking about creating a skit to show people before you enter the West Bank, there's this huge sign, red sign that says, danger, do not go in, your life is at risk. And that sign is hilarious to us because I guarantee you, the minute you cross that line and you just stop and say, hey, where is this? You're gonna be forced to get out of your car and drink coffee and eat a meal. Like, I'm serious, guys. Like, I'm not just
exaggerating.
Like, any person, you're gonna feel that that connection with them. So it's definitely, I feel like it's more dangerous with, you know, if you're like an actual, you know, Palestinian and like turned into a settlement by accident and you think you're a threat. You know, that's
Every
when
Palestinian's
that's when I think
nightmare.
it's
And
dangerous.
it's happened to us a few times, actually. And I just remember reversing like as fast as I could. We used an app called Waze, and little did I know it wasn't Palestinian friendly. And I remember navigating to Al Khalil, which is Hebron, and I approached, well, actually, I was driving back home from Ramallah, and I turned right into my village to Messiah. My phone freaks out. It's like, make a U-turn, make a U-turn. It's like dangerous. And I'm like, but I'm approaching my house. I'm like, what's wrong with this? Like, dangerous zone. And I think that's pretty upsetting for me because as an American, I always use that app, and it got me to my home without telling me to reverse. And in Palestine, it's just so different because it's not dangerous at all where I'm from.
I'd like to continue this, but before we go any further, then let's move to San Diego and talk about Paliroots and what was the talk a little bit about the company, what motivated you to start it, and then we'll see where this conversation goes.
So basically, Paliroots was created to cultivate the world about the Palestinian culture. So we thought about all these brands that exist for Palestine today, which there are a couple, and a lot of them are like, they focus too much on the occupation rather than the actual culture of Palestine, and we feel like we can inspire more people to learn more about Palestine just by simply learning about the culture. And just understanding, how the people, are. And I feel like, to be honest with you, we've been pretty successful with that because we get messages all the time, telling us like, wow, I changed my perception. I understand Palestine more. I understand that the Palestinian people are not just these crazy people who are, screaming Allahu Akbar and, like throwing rocks. It's, they're actually, humans just like us, and they want peace. And so they started discovering, people started discovering that more about, about Palestine. And so we created an outlet where people can feel a sense of community. We urge people to learn about their roots, and it's very open. We have a very strong set of values, including impartiality. We respect all religions, and we welcome all groups of people to, to be a part of Paliroots. And we teach people, whether they're Palestinian or not, always to learn about their identity and their roots, because that ends up helping you discover yourself. And it's a community where people can network with each other, and they can build close relationships. And believe it or not, there's people who've gotten married just because they met each other from Paliroots on social media. So, and it didn't happen
dating
once.
Service too. Then is that
it's not a dating service, but it will turn into one pretty soon.
Yeah, you brought some pictures here. Is that? Do you have anything to show us? What? We're not selling anything here, really. We had this conversation. This is not about marketing, but I think the people would like to see a little bit about what you've developed. You're the designer, right?
Yes, I am. I love designing clothes, especially ones that are meaningful, because I believe what you wear is your statement, like the thobe that I'm wearing today. So one of the things, while I'm designing, I always think about a story behind the product. What story do I want to portray, and will this product allow the person to ask a question? So anytime I wear Paliroots, someone's like, what is that necklace? What is that bracelet? That gives me the opportunity to speak of Palestine and to humanize the Palestinians. I think, again, through the occupation, people correlate Palestine with land, not people. And that's the big issue here, is that people do not see beyond the line of land. It's not a fight between the land, it's a fight between your culture and your heritage and preserving that. So one of the things that I'm extremely proud of are the projects that we do for the kids in Gaza. Every time we get these photos, Hussein walks in and I'm just crying on my bed, just looking through the photos. I'm like, look how adorable they are. Because I see them as my own kids. I see him as my sibling, my 11-year-old brother. So this right here is a kid giving you guys a thumbs up for getting a new pair of jacket, getting shoes, getting a backpack, getting basic human necessities, something that I would buy with my eyes closed, but to them it's the world's greatest gift to stay warm. So we have NGO partners that are based in the US, and we have an on-ground partner called Mecca, Middle Eastern Children's Alliances, who purchase goods from Palestinian manufacturers and businesses to supply these kids. So not only are we helping the kids, but we're helping the economy in Gaza. And again, these are very trusted NGOs. We had millions of questions for them just to make sure that every penny that we put into these kids are being put to the use to actually help these people. And that's just one of those photos.
Yeah, so a lot of these donations are coming from the 10% that we promised to give back to Palestine. We specifically choose Gaza because Gaza is a very, very sad place, because over 60% of the population there, don't have a job, they're unemployed, and the children, a lot of them don't go to school because they don't have the necessities that they need, including backpacks, and they live in homes where pretty much they're like a size of like a New York studio with 7 people in their family. A lot of these kids have lost their mothers and their fathers, so we donate to a lot of orphan programs. But what makes us unique is that the projects that we choose is specifically whatever the people need there. So we don't come up with a project and say, hey, these people need this, let's send the money out. We research, we ask our on-ground partners, what kind of things do these people need back home in Gaza, and they'll tell us, the kids have a problem with going to school because they don't have backpacks, or they share backpacks with their brothers and sisters, and that's not a way a child can go to school and be motivated. Carrying the books is heavy. So to date, Pali Roots has proudly donated over $257,000 to these children through raising money and also donating the 10% in the last 2.5 years that we've been out as a company. And this is another a photo of a child that basically got like a thermal for the winter.
That's with our NGO called Zemzem Water. It's basically a 2-year-old NGO, and they have done wonders. And they're just a group of individuals our age that are doing things for Palestine. So we see the youth really sticking up and doing something. And he's actually comes from Afghani roots, so he's not even Palestinian. So that means a lot to us as a Palestinian background, to see someone not from our ethnicity to be doing something for the people. And that I think that's a stronger thing. Yeah, we'll definitely show him a video. So here is our winter charity project for Save Gaza. And before you play this, I want to make something really clear. One thing that separates our values is that we don't just claim we donate 10% to a charity and we're done. We create projects. And one of those projects we did was we supplied kids in Gaza with Eid gifts, which is a Muslim holiday. And when we announced this charity project, a lot of people in our community questioned us, like, why would you give kids gifts? Like, that's not going to help them. What is this? And for us, we told them, if you do not reach out to the people of Gaza and ask them what they need, then you do not have a say, because it's not about what we want for them, it's about what they want for them. And one of those things that I've come to realize, and the person who initiated this, was these kids are kids and deserve to be kids. You would look into a six-year-old's eyes and they would talk to you like they're 60, because they completely have been stripped of their youth. They had to grow up at the age of 4, had to grow up at the age of 6. So to give them a gift was them finding their way and expressing that childlike that we all should be experiencing until the day that we die. And for them, we want to give them the opportunity to be happy about a toy. What a kid can get in America is what they can get there too. And that people here in the US, people around the world still look out for them and still love them endlessly. So that's a great project.
And that project specifically was like the least amount of money that we put towards, but yet we saw the most amount of happiness. And I mean, the kids love jackets, they love the the backpacks and everything, but you give a kid a toy and they're on top of the world. And then just going back to Aminah's point before we play this video, there's a little boy named Mohammed. His name is he's basically also called like the Onion Boy. I don't know if anybody have heard of his story. Just by a show of hands, have anybody heard of the Onion Boy in Gaza who put a mask over his face? Okay, so we got two people. So basically this this kid, he went to the Lands Day protest, and he shows up there with an onion and a mask over his head and he's just sitting there, protesting for his land and for his grandparents' land that he has lost. And his story became viral all over the news. I don't know, mainstream news, but especially amongst our community. And they interviewed the little boy, and he was talking about, and the way he was talking, you would think he is a man. Like it's pretty mind-boggling. He was talking about defending his grandpa's land and taking care of his parents and things that you don't hear from a typical 5 to 8. How old? 8 years old? 6 years old? Something?
Yeah, 6.
You don't hear these things. So when you go there and you meet these kids, you really feel really sad because as kids they shouldn't be thinking about protecting their grandparents' land and fighting for their freedom and liberty. They should be thinking about hanging out with their friends and riding their bikes. And I mean, maybe other people have different opinions on this, but it's a child,
Yeah, some of these kids are even selling gum at the side of the street. And sometimes, I think I learned my lesson pretty hard. I would give them an extra $1. They're like, don't give me extra money. You pay what you get for. And I'm like, don't you want more candy? He's like, this money isn't for candy. It's to help my family. And it's crazy to see that responsibility that they have and the lessons that they've learned. I definitely didn't understand that until I was 15 to do sort of things like that.
Yeah, that's one thing that really fascinated me is that we try to give a little bit of extra money to some of these kids, and they don't take it. They don't, and they will never take money unless they sell you something, because they don't want to feel like they're just there to collect money. They want to work hard for what they get. So we're gonna go ahead and play this video. Hopefully the volume is good.
Winter in Gaza Strip is very harsh. Air temperature reached to 10 degrees Celsius during the month of December to February. Sometimes it drops below 5 degrees Celsius. The cold weather is accompanied by frequent spells of rain. Thousands of poor families are afraid of the winter due to the tough living conditions in Gaza Strip, where poverty reached high level. 60% of population are now estimated under the poverty line as a result of the ongoing Israeli blockade of the Gaza Strip 10 years ago, and the continued closure of the crossings and the instability of the internal Palestinian situation. Add to that the severity of electricity outage and the unavailability of fuels which leave them extremely vulnerable to cold temperature, especially children who have to go to their schools and kindergartens in the morning and in cold and rainy days. You can touch these tragic figures when you walk through Gaza Street and see children running in the rain without clothes or shoes, or when you see thousands of people still live in asbestos houses where their homes were destroyed in the recent Israeli attack in 2014. As soon as winter begins, these people start a search for plastic lids or nylon rolls to cover the roofs of their homes to prevent the entry of air. Mecca, in cooperation with Zamzam and Bali Roots, apply winter relief project. We aim through this project to spread a gift of warmth and happiness to children and to protect people from rainfall inside their homes by providing winter packages to those in desperate need. We provide thousands of children from 4 to 14 years with clothes and hundreds of people in asbestos homes with nylon rolls. Each winter package includes jacket, jeans, shoes, underclothes, and warm socks. We hope to give warmth for more and more children.
So, part of what you earn in the Pallyritz goes to this cause. Have you ever been to Gaza, either one of you? No,
Nope.
it's even for Palestinian people, it's difficult to go there. Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not able to enter Gaza after, especially after the 10-year siege that has been ongoing so far.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, I hate to, this seems like an abrupt transition, but while we're talking about Pallyritz, do you have examples of your clothing here? I thought you were
Well-
going to bring something in.
Well, we were gonna bring stuff, but to be honest with you, we thought about it. We didn't want to make this about the clothing and the company and more about like the culture about Palestine and if you want to learn more and see what we do have, you can go to our website pallyroots.com and you can see all of our charity projects and discover more about Palestine. We write really great blogs. We also launched the Palestine series, which we would like to show you. I guess that one
this
has.
is exciting.
Okay.
That
So
has
I'll let
more
you know a
examples.
little
Before you
bit
show
about-
that, let me just,
Uh-huh.
I am hardly an authority on fashion. I mean, you can see that just by looking at me, or a fashion plate. But I have gone to that website, and it looks to my untrained eye like very high quality stuff. And what this dress you're wearing is not Pallyroot.
It's not, but we do hope to introduce a whole thobe line. We're working on having women in Palestine make custom thobes for you ladies. Men, I'm sorry, but we'll try to find a way to get some cool pants, maybe t-shirts or pants. But this thobe right here is made by my grandmother. She's Spanish and Palestinian. Her name is Maria, but she changed her name to Thaljiya because she wants to be associated with Palestine 100%. I was like, all right, girl, do you. I'm like, it's all you. But she handmade this thobe, and what's really amazing about the fashion statement in Palestine is, like I said, what you wear is what you represent. This thobe, the patterns on here represents Ramallah, and you can tell by the distinction of the roses. And sometimes Ramallah also has ostriches on their thobes as well that represents. So when women wear them and you look at their thobes, you know what city they're from. Like, oh, you're
And
from
you also
here.
can know if they're married or not.
Oh, yeah.
Or looking to get married. So it's pretty interesting.
The thobe says it all.
So you can tell
Alright.
the city, their marriage,
Yeah.
a bunch of different stuff.
But this outfit you're wearing this is not Pallyroot.
No, this is definitely not Pallyroot. No. But what I could
Wanted to
do
make
is I
that
can talk to you
clear.
guys about this product that I'm wearing here.
Okay.
I think I saw Kylie. She had
She did
had
have
one
it.
on too. Thank you, Kylie, for your support. This is called the Hadoop Bracelet, and Hadoop in Arabic means tranquility. And the purpose of this bracelet is to remind people to stay calm in times of stress. And the reason why we created this is we believe that it's a good reminder to remind people to stay calm, of course. And the beads themselves, when you put them on in the morning, they're really cold. So when you put it on your wrist, you feel that, and it's supposed to be therapeutic, according
Yeah.
to Chinese culture, right?
That's right. But the reason why we called it Hadoop specifically is that anytime things were chaotic and you, like some of the kids who were like running away or like freaking out when the IDF truck would come by, the mothers would say, Hudu, 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 like stay tranquil, stay calm. And that just reminds us, like even during times of chaos, and that's how we make our products. It doesn't only reflect to the Palestinian culture, but it also is relatable to everybody. There's a little bit of Palestine in each and every one of you guys, and that's the beauty of it. We tell people here, you don't have to be Palestinian by blood, you have to be Palestinian by heart. And I think that's the beauty of it.
Let me make one more comment. As somebody who's I have actually looked at the clothing. I haven't
He
bought
did his
any, but I've
homework.
looked at it. And my characterization of it is it's kind of sport clothing, youth-oriented, maybe polo shirts and hats. Is that right? I just wanted you to
So
know.
we would say our demographic is like usually a little bit older,
Okay.
but we do have things also like for the youth, because we need to make we want to tie in, so it's like something that somebody who's like a classy man who's going to work can wear like a nice the biggest staple item that we have is our logo is the map of Palestine from 1948, as you can probably see it. Hold up, maybe right here. And then we basically created T-shirts that have just the logo alone on the corner, so kind of like a polo shirt, and that is favored a lot amongst older people, because it's older crowd, because it's just simple and it's very you can wear it with anything, and that's why a lot of people like wearing our clothing, is that not all of it is too loud. Although we do have things that are like very statement pieces, like our Hurriya collection, and that is you wear that and you're putting out a statement to the world.
It's called the Freedom Collection.
Yeah.
And you market this all over the world.
Yes.
I
Yeah, and
take
actually
it.
Kylie is wearing our Butler Boy tee, if you can show them. Basically, this is the boy that I was telling you about, Mohammed, the little 8-year-old boy who was wearing the onion.
6-year-old.
A 6-year-old, yeah. So
We also
basically
have someone else wearing the kickback hoodie as well.
Yes.
Caitlin.
Yeah, but
She's
the
wearing a
idea
cool one.
is that shirt is 100% for charity, so we do not make a single dollar out of it, because it's not something that feels right to make money from. It's a story that we just want to spread. So with this shirt right here, we were able to donate so far $4,505 to PCRF to provide cancer treatment to children in Gaza. So we're providing the drug miracopatine or something like that, which helps them, with the chemotherapy. And we're still, till today, we're still selling that shirt, and they're expecting another about a $4,000 or $5,000 check, because we do rounds every 3 months. We send the funds. But that's just like one example of like how we do our charitable projects. And the next project we're doing with the PCRF is we're gonna sponsor, basically build a whole entire room in a cancer hospital in Gaza. Yeah. And that project's taking place in September, and we just need to raise $30,000 from the community, and they're gonna be able to have the equipment that they need to treat children with cancer there.
One more question about the business, and then I'll let you show your video. That's great. It's still a business. I mean, you have to make a profit, and you make your living doing this. What kind of short-range plans, next 5 years, where do you see this business going? Or what are your dreams for it as a business?
Yeah, so one of the things that we want to do with Pali Roots is, again, keep expanding, keep growing, but I want to build more events for people to come. So we want to throw an event for Palestine, and this already exists, but we want to take it to a whole new level where thousands of people go. There's one in Houston, Texas called the Houston Palestine Festival, and 10,000 people show up to that event, and it's like the ultimate Palestinian event. But we want to take it to a new level where we have like tours around the world so that people who are not aware of Palestine can just attend if they're walking by the park. So besides events, we want to start introducing food. So you can get local za'atar and olive oil at your doorstep anytime from Palestine, and that's going to help Palestinian farmers and businesses grow and stay in business. I think there's much more to it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of other things. We always thought about building up like a little coffee shop, but we don't know if we are like brave enough to get into that business, just because we know how hard it is to do restaurant business and stuff. But we definitely have a lot of really good food influences that we feel like we can bring out to the world. There's this amazing drink called Rube. I don't know if you guys ever heard of it, which is basically a carob juice that we make, and it's really delicious. Like when our friends come over, they usually drink 3 or 4 cups, and it's very sweet, very, very sweet drink. But there's a lot of things that we feel like we can put on the menu that is very unique, where you'll be able to taste something that you've never tasted before. So these are a couple of things we would like to.
You'll
do,
have a franchise in every town, then. Is that the idea?
That would be really great.
Well, eventually, Hussein and I come from like a family of entrepreneurs and doctors, and we just have like that Palestinian hustle in us. Like, if you've been into Palestine, you know what I mean. Everyone's trying to sell you something. But eventually, like we were talking about this, if we do decide to open up new businesses and make a living off of that, we would love to turn Pali Roots into a full profit company where everything that non-profit, what did I say? Well, all the profits will go to helping kids in Gaza and the Bedouins and anyone that needs help. So that's ultimately the goal with Pali Roots, where all the merchandise that we sell will go to help the people of Palestine if God permits. So inshallah, that's the end goal.
Okay, now I'll let you show your video. Thank you for.
So before we show you the video, I want to explain what it is. So we went to Palestine September and October for one very important reason. And one of that reason is we wanted to start a Palestine travel series. Basically, it's a way to document Palestine in the best way possible. So this will encourage people to go and actually want to visit Palestine. And through these series, we have 5 different seasons, 5 different major cities, and each season has historical places in that city. So the first season we launched was Jericho, and the first episode we launched is Hisham's Palace. Anyone went to Palestine, went to Hisham's Palace? There you go, really cool, historic place, almost abandoned when we went, which was awesome because shooting it was just easy, no one was staring at us. But it's more so to document Palestine in a good light and to encourage people from every culture and ethnicity to want to go see it. So we turned it into like a vlog / cool video. And the person who shot all of our series is an 18-year-old kid, and he's my brother. So I will say his work is amazing, but you'll have to just see for yourself.
Yes, and just a little background about Hisham's Palace. This place was discovered recently, I think how long ago was it that they discovered these tiles? So basically they went there and they started discovering mosaic tiles and found like carpets, ancient carpets in this area. So it's pretty
Like the
amazing.
size of
There's
this
still,
room.
how do you say it, extravagating? I don't know what that word. Excavating. Sorry guys, my English can sometimes be bad. But yeah, so here it is.
And this just launched last week, so we're really proud.
Hussein place, and today we're going to be discovering this ancient ruins that was built in the 8th century. This is a historical land site here in Jericho, located 2 kilometers north of the major city. So let's go and check out this amazing place. Let's talk about what's inside the palace. This central courtyard is paved with limestone slabs, surrounded by arcade galleries filled with rooms for guests, servants, and storage. There's also a prayer room and a cold bath. This place was also known as a winter resort for hunters. So we're going to go ahead and check out this place, but I'm going to talk to you guys about this iconic piece right here. This is a symbol for Jericho. This is a star, circular shape in Husham's place, right in the center of the courtyard. And it's inspired by Islamic art. And you can still see the ruins from it. It once was a window where sunlight used to seep in and create a star pattern on the floor, which is really cool. So I'm going to stop talking to show you guys the rest of this place. Let's go. Alrighty, Calgary, that was the end of the Hisham Palace tour. I'll see you guys on the next vlog. Love you.
Great. That was quite good.
It was 107 degrees that day.
Wow. Yeah. Well, you looked very cool.
Oh, it was, let's just say I lost my temper just a few times. I was like, I'm not saying palace, I'm saying place. And I just gave up. I was like, we're just going to keep it in.
We've been talking here for about an hour, and I want to let the audience in on this as well and to start asking questions. But before I do that, anything else you want to say? Is there a question I didn't ask you, something on your mind you want to get across, or have we covered the waterfront pretty well? Well, that
The only
sounds-
thing that I
that's-
do wish is I wish I was able to bring a plate of chnafa for every one of you guys. And if you haven't had chnafa, I'll let you know a little bit more about it. It's goat sweet cheese on the bottom, and it has, what's that stuff on semolina on the top, and it's mixed with this orange food coloring, and then you bake it. Well, sometimes people cook it over the fire, and then you put the sweet syrup sauce.
Orange blossom syrup.
Orange blossom syrup. You guys, take a bite of it, and you're in Palestine. Just close your eyes,
And
you're there.
and you might become diabetic. So.
Yeah. So be careful. One bite's all you need.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to turn the microphone over to you people now. And if you have specific questions, please come forward to that microphone or that one. I'll put this mic that I'm using, I'll put it over there so you can use it, or maybe I'll hand it off to people and can ask questions. And it looks like we have a question right here, and that's great. Before I let you talk, I got to just say one thing, that when I was reading the list of credits, and it was such a long list, but I should acknowledge, and I want to do it right now, this local Peace Not Walls group, and I don't know, Jim is here somewhere, isn't he? Yeah, Bailey. And you had a lot to do with getting me into this as a topic, and so I thank you for that and for the support that Peace Not Walls has given. And originally this was going to be a 4-session, 4 programs, and then Kylie, Cochran knocked on my door, and she is a graduate student in social work here, and she said it was missing one piece. And so basically Kaylee offered me this, the Musa's here, and so I thank you for that too. So it takes a village, doesn't it? So thank you all. You're also part of the sponsors of this.
Thank you, Kylie.
Okay, so now let's go for Q&A.
Yes, generally my question is, how do you get goods or financial aid or anything in and out of Gaza that you're contributing? I'm not sure that I understand the border situation. I kind of thought everything went through a checkpoint, and how problematic is that? Or now you're donating money for this addition. So how problematic are the logistics for you?
So a lot of times it's very difficult. Especially if you want to bring in material into Gaza. So we have a project that we did last, I believe November. We were, a huge problem in Gaza is water. The water is contaminated. There's not enough water. There's almost 2 million people in this little piece of land. So what they do to get water is they use water tankers. 90% of the population relies on these tankers for their daily water consumption. So whenever we have material like that, it has to get approved from the Israeli government. And until today, people are not able to use the water tanker that we provided. It's still pending, sitting in their warehouses somewhere, just waiting for people to use. When it comes to money, I feel like it's a little bit easier because our on-ground partners have been there for over 30, 40 plus years. So they develop these relationships with the people. So if we were to go ourselves and to give the money to somebody there and to pass out the material, it won't work. That's why we have to work with a nonprofit that follows American compliance laws. A lot of times these NGOs are required to donate like a similar amount to like Israeli causes. So if we're giving 30,000, they'll say nope, for this cause you cannot. You need to give another 30 to like disabled people of Israel or something like that. So it all really depends. But our on-ground partners have built, have been there for such a long time. It's very reputable. And of course, the society has their eyes on what can come in and out into Gaza. So if they're seeing that aid is suddenly getting cut from all these NGOs, well, people are not going to be able to eat, and then there's going to be a lot of problems, right? They rely on funds from people like us. Of course, we're the baby sharks in amongst these huge NGOs like UNRWA. Who provides millions of dollars, but with Trump cutting the funding, we're really focused now on more food campaigns because that's what they're asking for. They need food. So
yeah, and also our NGO partner Mecca, Middle Eastern Children Alliances, they have their headquarters is actually in San Francisco, so they have a lot of good ties with the U.S. when it comes to humanitarian projects. So we do most of our projects with them. We do work with Zemzem, but we collect the funds with them and we donate it to this NGO, and they take everything from there. So we're more of like the initiation of thinking of what the project is, raising that money, and then donating that money to our trusted NGOs at Mecca. And that's basically how it works. They have really good ties and have been doing humanitarian work for many, many years. So they have a good reputation when it comes to humanitarian aid not for the U.S., in the U.S.
More questions? This is your big chance. Here comes another one.
So, how many times have you been to Gaza?
I've never been to Gaza. I'm not allowed to go into Gaza.
Thereby.
Where's this picture taken?
This is in Aida refugee camp in Bethlehem, Palestine. So we went, when we were on our trip, we played soccer with kids at this refugee camp.
So, would it be difficult for you to go to Gaza?
Absolutely. Cannot go in. Actually, I'm not even allowed to go into Jerusalem, and I was born there because I have a Palestinian citizenship. So when we were there, I applied for a visa, and I got denied, and I kind of lost my temper, and I said, I was born there. I deserve to be there. But yeah, I wasn't allowed to go in. There's a lot of places that I cannot go in when I go into Palestine. One of those, Gaza, like whether you're a Palestinian or not a Palestinian or wherever you come from, there's no way you can go in. The only way you can go in is if you are an approved humanitarian and work with an NGO, which our NGO humanitarian, his name is Steve, from PCRF. He's one of the few that can actually go in and out of Gaza.
Which, by the way, you still have a huge risk of getting stuck there. There's people who visited Gaza to go see their families there, and they've been stuck for 10 years and can't go back. So it's pretty mind-boggling. But one thing that I really do want to stress and to make you guys think about is I want everybody right now to think about their birthplace. Think about where you were born right now. And then think about somebody one day telling you, nope, you cannot come into your birthplace. How would you feel? That's what happened to Aminah. Born in Jerusalem, went there, we were very, very nice. We're like, hey, we just want to go visit Jerusalem, see what it's all about. And, she's been denied entry from going back to her birthplace.
Excuse me, don't you have an American passport?
I do.
And you couldn't get in with an American because of where you're...
If you have a Palestinian passport, American, it's actually better not to say you're American, to be honest, because if you say you're American, they're like, get out. Because they think we have all these privileges in this life. And I'm like, we don't, the U.S. donates a lot of money to you guys, right? I should at least have that privilege of going in. And you can't. Like, we dressed up as tourists to go visit for my own city. Like, all the glasses and the hats and, like, wearing shorts. Like, hi, we're from America. We just want to go into Jerusalem. And I just hate having to dress as a tourist in my own country just to go into my birthplace. But, yeah, we were denied.
And that's a really good question. That's something that also people don't have their eyes open to, is the simple fact that, we are American citizens. We love this land. We have family who've served in the military. I'm a proud American. I love this country. I was born here, and everything. But when we even told them, hey, we have American citizenship, they were like, "Inta Falastini, you're Palestinian." So then we just walked out of the office, and it was honestly, it was a heartache, to be honest with you, because that was going to be like the cherry on top for the trip for us. But yeah, I didn't want to get you guys uncomfortable thinking about your birthplace and not being able to go back. But it's a reality that I think everybody needs to face, because this struggle is not a struggle of Palestinians. It's a humanitarian struggle. No human should be feeling this way. And I'm talking about all causes, by the way. I'm talking about all people who are oppressed in this world. But it does a little something to you when it's you not being able to go back to your own home.
Yeah, another question?
So, if you can't get in, what about the people that are in? Can they get out?
Gaza specifically?
Yeah. Well, Gaza specifically. I wonder about the other refugee camps too, but I guess let's confine it to just talking about Gaza.
So a lot of times it just depends. There's certain times in the years where they allowed a lot of people to leave, and there's a lot of times where they don't allow people to leave. Specifically, you know, the young people, 60% unemployment, and you know, in that region. So you know, they tend to want to leave to go find a better life and to provide for their family. And as I said, there's certain times where they'll allow it, and there's certain times where they won't. So it just depends kind of on, you know, on your luck. We had a friend that recently left Gaza. It was very hard for him to, you know, to leave. He was telling us a
Alone
story.
the fee to leave is very expensive.
Yeah.
And they don't have money there. Like you were there, the unemployment rate is so high. How are they supposed to gather up all this money, still support their family, and then apply for a visa to leave? I think it's like, what, did he tell you how much it was for?
Yeah, it's like over $1,000 something and $2,000 in fees or
just
something.
to leave.
Yeah.
That's not even transportation. That's just here's
And a
the
lot
money,
of times
leave.
they also like they would escape, you know, through the tunnels and stuff like that, and like they would, you know, demand like $10,000 and just to go find another life. And then once they get to Egypt, they get kicked out and they return, you know, make them return back. So leaving Gaza is very, very difficult. Entering Gaza is very difficult. Gaza is one giant mess. We basically described as an open-air prison.
Yeah, and mind you, 60% of those people are kids. Just kids. 47.
I just read that Venezuela and Palestine have developed a common cryptocurrency. Can you tell me anything about that?
Common cryptocurrency.
Cryptocurrency, yeah.
Uh-huh.
I haven't heard about this. This is quite interesting.
Just read it last night on Pressura, I think it's called. The Facebook page, maybe?
That's
Pressura,
interesting.
might be a website.
Personally, I don't know much about it, although I've heard in the past that there was some kind of Bitcoin, or not Bitcoin, but cryptocurrency things happening in Palestine, but it's nothing that I can comment on because I don't know much about it. But that's pretty interesting because it's very hard to send money to one person there. Yeah. Thank you.
More questions? You can ask. We stayed away from politics pretty much, or they did. Well, that was intentional because we've done lots of stuff about politics here in this series, but the idea was to talk about the culture of Palestine. But it's okay. If you want to ask a political question, that's perfectly all right. It's not forbidden. Well, I'll ask one, because I'm not going to let you go yet. We talked about this at dinner, and I think I'm correct when I say that Golda Meir, when she was the Prime Minister of Israel, said there's no such thing as a Palestinian. It's a fiction. How do you respond to that?
I would just tell her to look at me. I'm like,
Well, I think
I'm
she
like,
meant
where
they're
am I?
Arab people, but she was denying a separate. He said they're just people from Jordan who happen to live there, or it's from that region. That's what she was getting at.
I don't think the word Palestine is pulled out of thin air. I feel like there's so much evidence in the world that proves that Palestine existed and the Palestinian people have culture and have this sort of identity that many can relate to, including maps that date back way back in the days. We actually have this map from 1905. They are two German nomads who created a map called Palestina, and they documented every tribe, village, city in Palestine, and the name on the top says Palestina. And they're 1905, so they're two German guys that just came across this land and documented it. So I would show her the map and tell her to explain.
And also, I mean, in the Bible it talks about Philistine. Am I correct? So I mean, it's been in there for over 2,000 plus years. So I would refer back to the Bible. Yeah, I mean, this is the strategy of ethnic cleansing. Is you remove the people, you take their culture, and you name the nearby settlements to the city that it's next to. So,
For example, in Ramallah, right on the outskirts, there's a village called Betin, but just a mile away is Bet Il. And what they're trying to do is eventually take over Betin and say, oh, Betin is here, it's called Bet Il, and that's not the truth.
yeah, Betil is like, and Beit Il is now, it's been there for thousands of years. You never heard of Beit Il? But really it's Betin. It's this. So the idea is you take the name, you make it sound similar, and then it's like, oh, we've been there for 3,000 years. And that's kind of been the claims. But
Also the pine forest thing, they would, so there's no pines, ever were pine trees in Palestine, ever. It was just a land of olives. And recently they have been planting pine trees, which is ruining the soil because you're not supposed to plant something that absorbs that much water. But they've gotten very tall. Pine trees grow super fast, and the bigger the tree is, the older the place looks like. So they plant the pine trees around their settlements and saying those trees have been here forever. It means these homes have been here forever. And one of the mind-boggling things that we always encourage people who are from Palestine, sometimes they want to remodel their homes, and we try to educate people to not sell their stones, because what's been happening is that they've been selling their stones to settlements. They're using those stones in their homes and saying their homes have been there forever, but those stones are actually from a different home. And that's been one of the things. A lot of people, even in our village, you would drive through it, they're untouched because we tell them that you are not, it's like illegal to take down a Palestinian home in our, in our village. We've created our own thing.
not illegal,
Not illegal,
by
but
in a governmental
Yeah, no,
stand,
no.
but like it's looked down upon, in our culture to even sell your house in Palestine. But that's our village specifically. We're very traditional.
Well, let me ask you another one, a political question. I think it's time to get into politics, and then I'll let you go, okay, as long as I have the microphone. Conventional wisdom in the press for the last 50 years or more has been a two-state solution. That's what many people have talked about. How do you feel about that? Is a two-state solution a viable way to resolve the conflict between the Jews and the Palestinians?
Well, for me, I believe as a Palestinian from Turmusaya, the village that has been untouched, it would be very selfish of me to want a two-state solution. I believe people who come from Jaffa, from Tel Aviv, from other parts in occupied Palestine deserve the right to go and visit their ancestors' homes and the villages that they came from. So I believe in peace, and I believe that we can work together. It's 2019. We should be living in a world with no borders. We should be accepting and respecting one another. And I myself have many Jewish friends who believe in the same idea, that we can live together, we could support each other. And again, it takes a lot of work. I never said it was easy. It's not hard, but it's definitely a challenge, and challenges can be overcome.
And also to add to that, today, probably right now, there is a Jewish boy and a Arab Palestinian boy born in Jerusalem. Had absolutely no choice to be born there. Their parents, are from that area, and it would be just as selfish, I feel, from us to kick everybody out of the region, right? So, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I personally believe, a one-state solution would be great, is that I feel like, we have to find a way to live together as people in modern day. Because if we keep getting stuck in the past, we're never going to solve anything. There's nothing that's going to get solved thinking with, what happened in the past. When you have a problem with a friend and you're going to keep thinking about that problem that you had from 10 years ago, it's not going to change the perception. It's not going to help fix the problems. So, and also another thing, that I do want to say is that, let's say right now, Canada starts building settlements here in Duluth. You have all these beautiful hills, because they take the hilltops, to watch over you. All of these are Canada now, guys, little patches of Canada. And Canada is controlling whether you can come in and out of, of your own land. How would you guys feel about that?
It's all about putting yourself in the shoes of others and changing your perspectives to truly understand the struggles of Palestinians.
Yeah, and today, there's so many settlements in the West Bank that a two-state solution is impossible.
Okay, do you have a question? How about taking two more questions and then we'll move on to the next stage of this evening? Okay?
Well, actually, I was probably going to ask about 3 or 4 questions. I was wondering about the educational system. I mean, you said a lot of the children are not in school, but who actually runs the school, and are they taught Palestinian culture? Are they taught Israeli culture? I also wanted to ask about the refugee camps, like who's in the refugee camps and how did they get set up?
So I myself went to school in Palestine, both in kindergarten and in high school of my senior year. So my experience growing up in Palestine, going to school, is that we weren't taught anything political. We were taught math, science, and art just like any other child, because politics does things to children. It brings negative emotions, and that's not what they wanted to teach the kids there. So that's a great question. We do focus on just strengthening the mind of the child in the healthiest way possible, and that's what I did as a kid. The only thing different as from American children that get education is we have to learn Arabic in all those subjects. So it's a lot harder, a lot more difficult. But when I was in high school in Al-Najah University, sometimes on my way to school, there would be a checkpoint, and I wouldn't be able to go into school. And let's say I just missed out on a whole day. That would take me a whole year to catch back on to, because I took chemistry, biology, geology, calculus, and let's say 8 other subjects all in one semester. So the education system there is extremely, extremely powerful. If I know once I finished high school and I came back for my last 2 months of high school, I moved a lot. I was already advanced, and I would just literally sit in class like, oh, I already learned this literally last year. So there's no political ties with the Palestinian school system whatsoever. It's focused more on educating them, getting them a good education, getting them graduated, and eventually maybe have a opportunity to go study in a university in Palestine or outside. They build them into very intelligent individuals.
And to add to that as well, refugee camps are funded through UNRWA, and basically those schools right now are being shut down at these refugee camps, so even less kids are going to school in refugee camps. After Trump did the budget cuts, the 400 million or 300 million has been cut from that. So and that money was going towards food and education. So the school situation is not getting better for refugees, specifically in Gaza, Aida camp, where UNRWA is dispersing these funds to the people who need it.
And the people who do run those schools are actually volunteers. They're teachers who just volunteer to help these kids, which is amazing because in America, teachers are being underpaid. And because they're being underpaid, I would completely understand why they wouldn't want to teach or be passionate about teaching. Over there, the reason that they teach for free is because they're passionate and they can see the brightness of the child and believe that they will be the next Einstein, they will be the next inventor, they will be the next astrology fanatic, and I think a lot of the discoveries in today's world are descended from Arabs, including astrology. All the names of the stars are named after Arabic names. So I think everyone has that potential. Every child has that potential to be the next big thing.
And a good example of that is Wafa, who you saw in the video earlier. She's just a volunteer with Mecca, but she teaches these children, and she's basically a poor woman, but she's there for the children and still teaching them, which is amazing. So God bless her, and shout out to Wafa. I think she deserves that spotlight.
Last question, please.
After hearing everything that you guys have said, one of the things that I want to know is how best, what resources I could use to educate myself on everything that's going on, because I want to be able to help, but I want to do it in I don't know.
Did you all hear that? What resources she's looking for to turn to for more information?
So in terms of Palestinian culture, to learn about the culture specifically, not the political side, we do have a lot of blogs that we write about Palestinian heritage. So if you ever want to know what our traditional dance is, or our holidays that happen in Palestine, or any projects that we're doing, food, if you want to do a Palestinian recipe, we have a recipe on there, amazing recipes on there. And some of them are written by Palestinian bloggers, so we help people in our community. So that's for the cultural side. And where would you go for the political side?
Peace, not walls.
Yes.
I mean,
And there's information right over there, right? About
Yeah, there's a really great organization. We actually had lunch with them today. That's actually here, based in Duluth, that you can be a part of. That's one way. Just going to social gatherings. I don't know if the school has any Palestinian programs or groups. No.
Per se, studying Palestinian culture. No.
No, there's no.
No, but we have
there's
courses
no
in the,
SJP.
we have courses in the Middle East and the politics of the
There's
Middle
no
East.
SJP chapter here, Students for Justice for Palestine.
I don't think
No,
so.
they're usually in big colleges like universities and stuff.
Yeah, they're everywhere.
But honestly, it's really hard to learn about the politics of Palestine and Israel through the media. I don't think it's portrayed the best way possible. Even I, as a Palestinian, struggle from every media news network. One of the networks that I watched growing up as a kid that I feel like spoke the most truth was Al Jazeera, and it's basically an Arab news network, and that's been pretty good because they actually cover stories that are meaningful, and it's not just for entertainment, it's for you to know what's happening in the world. And nowadays we're being educated of things that are not really important and do not value human life. So I would say that's one source. But again, I really love Peace, Not Walls, mainly because it's completely unbiased. They have no Palestinian background. They're Palestinian by heart. And I think that's the coolest thing to kind of look into.
And also, another good news source, if you really want to learn about the political side of what's going on, is RT. I don't know if anybody's familiar with RT. Anybody here? Show of hands. RT. Okay, so we got a couple. Awesome. Yeah, RT is a really, really good news source for understanding what's going on there. So if you go on YouTube, just put RT and Palestine, you're gonna learn a lot. Miko Pile is a huge Palestinian activist, Israeli. His dad was a general. He wrote a book called The General's Son. I think you can learn a lot about the politics in Palestine through Miko. He does a lot of tours. He goes to Palestine all the time. So I think honestly, just starting with RT, typing in RT Palestine on Google, Miko Pilate on Google, Robert Martin, huge activist for Palestine. He's not even none of these guys are Palestinians. As I said, one of them, his dad was actually a general in the Israeli army. So I think these are three really good sources. And of course, the community group here could definitely give a really good perception of what's going on. And if you want to feel like you're a part of something, Pali Roots is always going to welcome you. It will welcome anybody who, as long as they have respect for one another. You can be Jewish, you can be Christian, you can be Jew, you can be whoever you want to be, and we'll welcome you with arms wide open because we believe in love first.
Nicely said. Final remarks from either one of you. Otherwise, I'm going to call this a close. Yeah?
Allah ya'tikum al-afiyah wa yusallim alaykum. That basically means may God, how do I translate that into English? May God give you blessings and may He bless your hands. This is one thing that I love about the Palestinian culture is that we are poetic. We all have a little poetry in us. I mean, we would sit under olive trees and write poetry to the olive tree. So thank you so much for coming out here. It means a lot to see people come and stand for Palestine and hear our story.
And to add to her point, a huge, a lot of things that you would hear in Palestine is the word Habibi. Am I right? You hear Habibi every sentence, right? Habibi, Habibi. Anybody know what Habibi means? Say it out loud. What does Habibi mean? My love.
My love.
Yeah. So almost every sentence ends with Habibi. Yalla Habibi. Let's go Habibi.
Go, my love.
So Palestinians love to love. I promise you we're not as bad as you see in the news. We're a lot nicer than that. And my final remarks is that one day everybody's life is going to come to an end, and the only thing that you're going to be remembered for is the great things that you've done. And that's basically my message to the world.
Thank you all very much for coming. And a special thanks to you two, Hussein and Aminah, and for all of you for your support for Kaylee or Kylie. I've got Kayleys and Kylies all over the place in my life, so I can't keep it straight. Yeah, Kylie, and of course for the Peace Not Walls group for supporting this, and for the whole year. I thought it was, from where I sat, it was a pretty good year. Thanks. Have a great summer. See you in the fall for another set of programs. Oh, yeah. And you don't have to leave. We don't have Palestinian food over there. We have kind of Minnesota Catholic food. But I mean, you can stay and chat them up and as long as you like. Thanks again for coming.